What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. And today, it is Arsenal therapy, people. I didn't think we'd be back here for a while, but we're back here sooner than I expected. I certainly didn't think David Moyes would be the reason we'd be doing Arsenal therapy. I thought it might be a Pep Guardiola or somebody of that level, maybe a Jurgen Klopp. But Moyes has sent us to Arsenal therapy for the second time this season, beaten us again. We weren't even able to score a goal. And listen, I say it all the time. I will keep speaking that truth on social media because until this fan base demands more, we are going to continue to stay in this position. Nearly runs, always trying to win. We got a dog called win, but we ain't winning no trophies. It is crazy. And we got a lot to talk about. I've got to leave at 3 o'clock, so I've got to get this show done quick. Cruz has got football today. Big up Cruz, big up Rico as well. And listen, we got a lot to talk about. Big up everyone locked in. Make sure you like the video and subscribe again. Losing games of football can happen. It happens. You don't win every game. It's how you lose. And I think we've all seen this coming as well, people. I think we've all seen this coming. This performance was not a one-off. We're going to look through some of the fixtures, but this performance has happened a number of times this season. The warning signs have been there. Lackluster performances, inability to finish off our chances, winning games by 1 goal, drawing games. This performance has been coming. I wasn't even shouting that much last night because that defeat, for some reason, didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me. Like you said, Nix, we've seen this game before. We've seen this film before. We know what happens. We start off well. We start flying. We're near the top. We get injuries. We drop a few points. We get to January with all the hope and optimism. We get linked with star players. We don't sign them star players. We sign some bang average players. We then have a decent run. We get to about April and then we crumble. We finish 4th or 2nd or 3rd. And then the season finishes. And then they start talking about the war chest of the summer. We're going to buy this player and that player. And then we go on tour. Then the new kit comes out. We're all buying the merch. And we're back to square one. And round and round and round we go. And that's what continues to happen, people. I don't mind. I say this. I'll go on social media and take the criticism because there are people criticising my tweets last night. How can you relate this to the manager? How can you relate it to him? I said, well, ain't that his team that was on the pitch last night? I just want to quickly say something. His team last night, David Raya, Ben White, Zinchenko, all signed by him. Gabriel and Saliba got new contracts under him. Declan Rice, he signed. Trossard, he signed. Odegaard, he signed. Saka and Martinelli gave new contracts. Gabriel Jesus, he signed. That's his team. But people are telling me, how can I blame the manager? On the bench, he had Ramsdale, who he signed. Cedric, Kivior, all signed by him. And Ketia, new contract. Smith Rowe, new contract. Jorginho, he signed. That's his team. There's no excuse. 4.5 years, 725 million. But people are telling me I shouldn't call out the manager. It's not the manager's fault. It's the players. Kevin Campbell settings. In fact, yeah, I think he did sign Gabriel. You're right. Saliba he didn't sign. That is his team. That is his player. And Nelson he gave a new deal. So that is actually his whole squad. He either signed them or kept them and extended their deal. It's crazy. But listen, people, let's get into the show. Alberto said we have to start asking questions about our front three now. They haven't done it all season. Our defending has carried us, Big C. Yesterday's performance not acceptable at any point. I totally agree with you, Alberto. My problem is, when a player is out of form, I think you can point to the player. When it's one player, maybe two. But there's a collective issue at Arsenal. This isn't an individual problem. This is a collective problem. Odegaard's been out of form, not at his best. Havertz, yeah, scored a few goals in the last few games, but he hasn't pulled up trees for us, right? Jesus can't hit a barn door. He doesn't even want to attempt to hit the barn door. Martinelli's playing with his head on the floor. And Saka looks like he's been figured out at the moment, unfortunately. I want to go through a couple of things from last night, a bit of analysis, without getting copyrighted, hopefully. But we'll make an attempt. They done me that time when I played the video, so now we have to just do still images until maybe I'll start doing this review on Twitch where you can actually play some content. But I just wanted to look over a couple of things in the hope that we can break one or two things down, because I'm here to speak facts, not opinions. We'll give our opinions, but I'm here to speak facts. I want to focus on some things that went wrong and where the blame lays, and how come we're unable to break down a West Ham team that lost 5-0 to Fulham and a West Ham team that lost 5-1 at Liverpool over a week ago. How are we not able to break those teams down? Show analysis. That's what we're doing, people. Show analysis. Exhibit A, people. Exhibit A of the proof that needs showing. Benjamin White. Please step forward, Benjamin. I'm calling you Ben, in fact. I can't respect you enough to call you Benjamin. I'm going to call you Ben. Ben 10. Wasn't that a cartoon? Ben 10. Exhibit A. Ben White, a.k.a. Joey Essex, a.k.a. I don't watch football. I don't know nothing about Patrick Vieira. And Southgate doesn't like me very much. Emerson is out here, their left back, crossing the ball. Saliba's been dragged out to a right back position. Declan Rice is now at the centre back position. Saka's on the recovery, no problem. Paqueta's out here. You're doing your job. Here is Arsenal's right back. He's behind the referee. The referee's recovery run is quicker than Ben White. That's our right back. While Emerson's crossing the ball in. Saliba's doing his job. Rice is doing Saliba's job. Jared Bowen's completely unmarked. There's our right back. This guy this season has completely fallen off a cliff. He's high off fake tan caps, I'm convinced. That defending is just absolutely shambolic. Honestly, our fullbacks are outrageously bad at the moment. Like, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There should be police, solicitors and lawyers outside the Etihad Stadium today. I've got to go full screen for this. There should be police, solicitors and lawyers outside the Etihad Stadium. They sold us a left back that can't defend, and they sold us a striker that can't score goals. It's fraudulence of the highest level. We've been scammed. It's a pyramid scheme. Vincent Kompany said, Lokonga's the new Yaya Toure. Go and sign him. Turns out he's the new Yaya Sanogo. You sold us Zinchenko, who can't defend. He cried at Anfield after getting nutmegged by Trent. And you sold us a striker that says, my strength is not scoring goals. It's fraudulent. We've been ripped off. We've been done by Pep. We need solicitors and lawyers. They've ruined us. Let's get back to it. So that's the first bit. Ben White don't want to defend. Pathetic recovery run as well. The second bit that I want to show, ball gets whipped in. That can happen. It can happen, can't it? Ball gets whipped in. Still got time to deal with it. I want to show you Exhibit B. Ben White, by the way, still decided he doesn't need to defend. He's got nice tattoos. He's got suntan. Got spray tan. Getting a new deal, 150 grand a week. Nah, not me, mate. I'm not interested in defending. I got a book IB for this summer with the boys. I don't watch football. That's what Ben White's thinking. So, Jared Bowen is crossing the ball in. Ball might have been out. That's a different situation. Jared Bowen, unmarked, crossing the ball in. Mohamed Kudus probably still got enough space to just hook that in. And Thomas Souček, just in front of the penalty spot, unmarked. Leandro Trossard, recovery run, gets nowhere near him. Not a natural centre midfielder. Doesn't sniff out the danger. If I take it back here to where we was before, go back to the middle, look where Trossard is, look where Souček is. Trossard's probably a yard, 2 yards in front of Souček. As the play develops, he gets nowhere near him. Even on the first cross, if Jared Bowen flicks that in, he's totally unmarked. We've got 1, 2, 3 players in the area, and no one's marking Jared Bowen. It is absolutely ridiculously poor defending. I saw a lot of people blaming Gabriel for the second goal, because Gabriel loses the header to Mavropanos. Guess who was marking Mavropanos as the corner was being whipped in? Zinchenko. First of all, my first question, people. I mean, listen, I'm no football manager. I have won a few titles, by the way, on Football Manager, as I'm sure plenty of you have. I'm no football manager. But it doesn't I don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out. Mavropanos is 6'4", and we've got Zinchenko marking him. Does anybody know how that's going to work out? It's like asking Steph Curry to mark Wembanyama. Like, it just ain't really going to work. Why is Saliba not marking him? Why is Gabriel not marking him? Why is Declan Rice not marking him? I tell you what, mate. We'll put Zinchenko, the left back that don't want to defend, that's 5'10", 5'9". We'll put him on the 6'4" giant and see how that works out. We're huddle merchants at this point. You're right, Nathaniel. We're a bunch of huddle merchants. If you want a huddle and a conversation, mate, we're absolutely incredible. But if you want to mark properly, we train all week for this, by the way. People are paid millions of pounds to do these tactics. And Zinchenko's marking Mavropanos. You're right, Wemby couldn't mark Steph. He'd break his ankles. So the ball gets whipped in. He's marking a giant. He runs off him. And in the end, because Mavropanos just gets away from him, Gabriel is here. And Gabriel ends up challenging with Mavropanos. But Gabriel's marking his own player here on the edge of the penalty area. Look at Kudus, by the way, on the edge of the box. Imagine that ball gets headed out by Gabriel and it lands to Kudus here. Why is no one marking him? Why is no one marking him? Why are we marking space? We are a packet of crisps. We're space raiders. We're space invaders. We attack space. That's all we do. We don't mark players. We are a packet of space raiders. Pickled onion, barbecue, or spicy beef. We're marking space and not players. It's horrendous. Absolute. We're Lays FC, you're right. They've got more crunch than us, mate. We didn't crunch anyone. So first of all, the defending, Sunday League level. Sunday League, pathetic. Pathetic. Mavropanos, 6'4", put one of the big guys on him. Zonal marking, I've never understood why people zonal mark. I have no idea why any manager at any level zonal marks. You stand in space, they run onto you. 9 times out of 10, you jump from a standing position and a guy's running onto you, you're probably going to lose the header. It makes no... It's pathetic. Absolutely shambolic defending. This performance was a masterclass by David Moyes. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. Japan early exit in the Asia Cup needed, said EC. Tommy is essential. They're one of the favourites to win it, so I wouldn't expect that. Martin said, we'll lose and encourage Arsenal to buy the striker. That's the only positive I can hope for, but I don't see it. Why Always Me said, you're harsh on Ben White. He is on his man, Paqueta. Saka needs to follow Emerson. So not Ben. Heard Arteta screaming on Saka to follow Emerson. But look at the lack of effort to recover, even after the ball's been played back. And he's been like that for weeks. He's lethargic as hell. East London Gooner, big up to you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. But Gary Neville said Jesus is like Rooney and Tevez. Yeah, he's trolling us at this point. He's trolling us. He really is. Let's get into player ratings. This ain't for the faint-hearted, I'm telling you. If you don't want to hear harsh realities, get out of here. Run away. Get off this channel. By the way, there's going to be some... Let's just get into it. Let me not even waffle. Let me not even waffle. West Ham 2, Arsenal 0. Souček, Mavropanos, game over. Game, set and match. He didn't even want to celebrate. 30 shots on target. 30 shots on target. If the Arsenal attack tried to assassinate Tupac, he'd still be alive doing his greatest hits. Honestly, Tupac would have survived if this Arsenal attack were the shooters. We're going to a gunfight with a Super Soaker 500 with tap water in it. It's absolutely crazy what is going on here, people. 30 shots and you couldn't score. 75% possession and you couldn't score. 749 passes compared to 265, yet you lost 2-0. What kind of madness is this? Weak, soft, possession merchants. Trying to play 1-2s 10 yards out. Nobody's got killer instinct in this team. No one's desperate to hit the back of the net. Not one player has scored 20 league goals under Arteta in a full season. And when is it going to happen? We are possession merchants at this point. We don't want to score. We're not even willing to risk scoring. Let's get into player ratings. Not for the faint-hearted. I'm not messing about with this today, people. That was the worst defeat of the season. When we lost at Newcastle, there was a bit of controversy around the goal. It was only 1-0. At Aston Villa, we missed chances. We could have equalised. Bit of controversy. Havertz's goal could have countered. At least you did something. We did nothing last night. We couldn't do anything. We could have played till today. We still wouldn't have scored. We need to start having uncomfortable conversations about players in this team. I don't care how much we like them. I don't care how many adverts they do with puppies on their chest. I don't care if they stroke that dog. I don't care if they sell merch. Some of these players need to look in the mirror. It's getting so bad. A week ago, I said I don't want Solanke anywhere near this football club. Right now, he's better than all of our strikers. So I don't know where we're going. We're going to have some uncomfortable conversations. David Raya saved a penalty last night. Fair enough. To me, saving a penalty is probably the equivalent of a striker scoring a good goal, to be honest. Yeah, pause, by the way. It's been a long Christmas period. He concedes 2 goals, but he saves a penalty. I'll give him a 7. If a striker scores, it's a decent performance. He didn't do anything wrong. First goal, he was a bit flapping all over the place, though. 6.5. No, I can't give him a 7. I'm sorry. I just got into my own mind. I give him 6.5 because I'm still not convinced he's that good. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm giving him a 6.5. He saved a pen. Second goal, it's the crossbar. First goal, the defending's a shambles, but he's falling all over the place. 6.5. Average is 6. He saved a penalty. The goals aren't his fault. I don't think you can really bring him down. What was he at fault at? 6.5. I can't give him a 7. Just because you lose, not everybody's had a bad game. You know? Yeah, like you said, Aaron Ramsdale went, 18 months 2 years without saving a penalty. He saved a penalty. He didn't do it. The goals weren't his fault, honestly. I know we're angry. We're in our feelings. I'm tempted to just say 1 out of 10. The goals weren't his fault. The goals weren't his fault. He saved a penalty. We'll give him a 6. But I'm still not convinced by him. Bro, by the way, if you listen to me, because you're calling me out, so I'm going to give... You said Aubameyang scored 22 league goals. I said in a full season under Arteta. Half of that season was Unai Emery. He picked up the pieces. That was half a season. So, you know, that stat is actually correct, what I said, my friend. So, have a think about what you're saying. 6.5 for saving a penalty. It was a pointless save, but it's not his fault. He's not tall enough. Let's go into the back four. The 2 fullbacks are absolutely embarrassing at the moment. Zinchenko, I've said it before and I say it again. You ask someone to do a job that they're not capable of, they're not going to perform. So what do you expect? I'll start with Ben White, because Ben White, for me at the moment, is absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Honestly, he's so bad at the moment, I'd almost be tempted to put Cedric the Entertainer in there. It's that bad. I don't know where you go with it. I really don't know where you go with it, to be honest. I give him 3 out of 10. Give him 3 out of 10. He's awful. Absolutely awful at the moment. No wonder he don't get in the England squad. He should be playing for Wales or someone. I wouldn't put him anywhere near the England squad. Trippier, Trent, Walker. There's no need for him to ever play for England again. I give him 2.5. I think he's absolutely awful at the moment. He don't want to overlap. He looks like he can't be bothered to defend. He's walking around like he's prime Cafu or something. He doesn't look bothered. He looks like he wants to be at Ocean Beach in Ibiza. We're getting a suntan and drinking Ciroc vodka. He don't look like he wants to play football. 2.5. He's absolutely woeful at the moment. I'm sorry. Woeful. And I don't like his attitude. I don't like it. Strolling about the place like he's a big baller. He ain't. He's bang average. Brighton tax. Zinchenko, rubbish. But at this point, I can't even blame him anymore. Can't blame him. Not a left back. Just because you played left back at Man City doesn't mean you can play left back for Arsenal. It's not going to happen for Zinni, I'm afraid. As I said, he was marking Mavropanos. Like, it's just not going to work, is it? Mavropanos 6'4", Zinchenko's what, 5'10", 5'9". The thing that I said about Zinchenko for me, you play Zinchenko at left back, not because he's a good defender, because you think, okay, when he's on the ball, he'll give us some quality. At the moment, he can't even pass the ball. He couldn't even pass wind, never mind pass a football. You don't mind with Trent not being great on the ball because he's unbelievable. On the ball, sorry, not great defensively. This guy's not even good at defending. I'm giving him a 3. I'm giving him a 3. Just because he's not a defender and he shouldn't be there. I'm at this point, you've got to blame Arteta more than Zinchenko. I'll give him a 3. At least he cares, but he's just not good. Ben White looks like he couldn't give a toss. Let's go to the 2 centre-backs. Gabriel Magalhaes. I think the first goal could potentially be his fault. He kicks it straight onto Zinchenko. I'm gonna give Gabriel a 4. Maybe even... I'm gonna give him a 4. I'm gonna give him a 4. I think the goal's his fault. I'm gonna give him a 4, Gabriel. That's a poor mistake. But then at the same time, he could argue, bro, I've kicked the ball away. Why is Zinchenko right next to me blocking it? I don't know. It could be Zinchenko's fault. I could be doing Gabriel dirty here, by the way. But I'm just going to give him a 4. I'm in my feelings. I'm fuming. I'm fuming with the whole performance. Big C, you would love to play against Zinni. Zinni don't want to defend. It's great playing against the defender that don't want to be there. You're just going to run past him. Gabby wasn't that bad, but I'm blaming him for the goal. It could be Zinni's fault, though. He was too close to him. I'm going to give him a 4.5. I'm going to give him a 4.5, but it all looked clumsy. Wasn't marking Kudus tight. I'm marking him down. I'm sorry. William Saliba. Can you blame Saliba for either goal? I could be doing Gabriel really dirty there, by the way. I could be. It's probably Zinni's fault because Gabriel would argue, I've hooked that ball away. Zinchenko's so close to me, the ball's hit him and then it's come back into play. So I could be doing Gabriel really dirty. I really could, but I'm not apologising. I don't think you can bring Saliba down that much because I look at Saliba and think, first goal is dragged out to right back. That's not his fault. And I probably am doing Gabriel dirty. And the second goal's not his fault. I don't think Saliba played bad. I would still give Saliba a 6. Jared Bowen didn't really do anything yesterday against Saliba. I would give him a 6. Honestly, you don't understand how hard it is as a defender when your fullbacks are terrible and you're being dragged out. Saliba shouldn't be at right back. Do you know what I mean? Gabriel, I'll lift him up to a 5. I'm starting to think it's Zinchenko's fault more than him. But there is still an element of clumsiness about it, to be honest. But yeah, and he's covering a left back that ain't even there. But Saliba, I'm giving him a 6. He was average. I don't think anybody caused him problems, but our defence is a mess. Let's go into midfield. The Declan Rice derby. Deckers against his old club. We went there and paid 105 million British pounds for Declan Rice, and he played like he was still playing for West Ham. He gives away a penalty at the end. He's not playing the ball forward quick enough. It was his worst game of the season. I usually give Declan Rice 8 out of 10 every week. Let's half it. Let's get it down to a 4. He was awful yesterday. Not just because he gave away a penalty, because his passing was too slow and wasn't progressive. We desperately needed Thomas Partey yesterday. The rice was overcooked, people. It turned to rice pudding yesterday. It was an inside job. He thought he was still playing for West Ham. He spent half the game at centre-back. I don't understand why the guy plays so deep in our team. He was at centre-back. Egg fried rice, 4 out of 10. Awful. The next guy. Wow. Whew. This was a wow performance for me. Not wow because he was so good I can't believe it. Wow because I'm now starting to understand why Brighton sold him for £27 million and he's got grey hair. I thought the grey hair was a fashion thing. Like, yo, man's got a bit of grey, but maybe it's a thing. Like, he's a baller with... What the hell has happened to the... I was calling this guy Bossard. Now I'm calling him Drossard. CeeLaw's calling him Dossard. He's looked like he's been drunk for weeks. His birthday was at the Luton game. He hasn't put in a decent performance since. Absolutely horrendous performance. How this guy stayed on the pitch for so long, I will never know. I was actually saying at one stage this guy should be starting. Don't play him in that 8 role ever again. I was actually calling for him to play there, so I'm not even going to pretend initially I wasn't excited to see him play there. Stella or Trossard. I'm telling you, you've nailed it, Scott. What the hell is this guy doing? Awful. When I say awful, like I can't describe how bad he played yesterday. Corner can't beat the first man. Long range shot can't hit the target. Getting bullied to the floor. Absolutely awful. Brighton have had all these ballers. Caicedos, Basumas, João Pedro's looking like a baller. We've gone to Brighton twice. We took Ben White. Ben White was brilliant last year. This year, he looks terrible. And then we've signed Trossard, who is absolutely horrendous at the moment. 1 out of 10. He was awful, beyond belief. He couldn't give a tossard. He couldn't give a tossard. Honestly, I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know what's happened. In fairness, I think his best position is in the false 9. He scored 2 goals in 2 games there. But he is all over the place. Don't bring him anywhere near the football pitch at the moment. You bring him anywhere near the pitch, you've got no chance. He's dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Yeah, Caicedo hasn't been great, but you know what I'm saying. This guy, what I'm seeing is incredible. Martin Odegaard. Listen, I've got a bit of a... My thought process on Martin Odegaard is a little bit cloudy. Talent, amazing. Production, not always enough for me. But I'm going to give him some credit. He was the only guy yesterday that I thought, you know what? If we're going to do anything, it's going to happen through him. It's going to happen through him. I can't mark him too high. I can't mark him too high because it's not like he had shots that the keeper was tipping all over the place. And it's not like he put passes in that led to clear-cut chances. I'm just going to level him up with David Raya and give him 6.5. I'm going to give him 6.5. I think he was just above average. He was our best player on the outfield yesterday. He worked his socks off, which I'm not going to hype the work rate because you should put the work rate in. But... he played some nice passes, nice touches, maybe too many touches. But I'm telling you now, I've played in the creative role at times. And I said it before and I've said it again. You are only as good as the players that you're creating for. And we're going to talk about this front three. You know, David Blaine couldn't create a situation that this three could prosper from at the moment because they're ghosting. So I give Odegaard 6.5. He gave everything. He left everything on that pitch. And I'm telling you now, there was a lot of players that didn't. He played some good passes, but it wasn't enough. But you need a support act. Where's Trossard? Where's the link-up? Some nice hair flicks. Expected hair flicks from Odegaard. But still, for me, not ruthless enough as a collective. Odegaard, for me, too many touches. Sometimes you just got to pull the trigger. Let me talk about the front three. The clip's got to come off now. The clip's coming off. I've had enough. I've absolutely had enough of this. This is undefendable now. It's undefendable. We're all Arsenal fans probably because of attacking players. Most of us. Most of us love attacking players. Depending on what age group you are, I don't know. You know, Thierry Henry, Ian Wright, Rocastle, Van Persie, Anelka, Aubameyang, whoever. You all love the attacking players. Alexis Sanchez. We're now being subjected to this. And they're not all bad players. Bad form doesn't make you a bad player. I'm looking at the front three and actually thinking, who do I start with? I don't know where to go. I've got to start with, for me, the guy who's the worst at the moment. I'm going to go full screen and take a sip of the drink. It's necessary. We need some red stripe! I want to talk about Gabriel Martinelli. I'm going to need to see that passport at some stage. Because at the moment, he doesn't look like a Brazilian. Is he from Peru or something? Remember that song? Peru, para, I'm blue. Remember that song? Ed Sheeran. He's playing like he's from Peru at the moment, not from Brazil. Martinelli's giving people headaches and migraines at the moment. And it was my boy. I said I was Martinelli FC. I've announced my I've handed in a transfer request from Martinelli FC until further notice. I don't know what to say about what I'm seeing from this guy. He's got to be from somewhere else. The Amazon rainforest, Bolivia. I don't know where he's from. What do you mark him after that? I don't think he actually saw any of the game. He spent the whole time looking at the floor. So I don't know if it might be non-applicable for Martinelli. How can you mark somebody that didn't see any of the match? He didn't lift his head up for the whole game. I think he's half Italian. People calling him Fartinelli. E. Ross said, this is Fartinelli, he stinks. I'm telling you now, he's constipated. He's dropping bombs all over the place. What the hell is this? Ricky Martinelli. All side, inside out. She's living la vida loca. She'll push in. What the hell am I seeing right now, man? What's this? Gervinho with a hairline. You might have thought that the computer had crashed then. I had to just sit there in silence and be still. I don't know what I'm watching with Martinelli. Ricky Fartinelli. He can't even pass wind. He wouldn't get the fart out, to be honest. I don't know where to go with the rating, people. It might be not applicable. I don't know if I've got a rating for him. You can't drop him. Who do you drop him for? Reece Nelson? He ain't going to do anything. No disrespect. Give him a 1.5, man. He tied his laces on his boots. That's all I can give him. Oh, she bangs, she bangs. Oh, babe, the way she moves. Oh, crazy because she looks like a flower, but she stings like a bee. Man's got me singing Ricky Martin. It's crazy. On the 29th, it's nearly 2024. Give him 1.5, man, and get out my face. He should be on the training ground this morning. At least she does move. Crazy. Absolutely. He's probably got laceless boots, so I don't even know if he is tying his lace. It should be -1, to be honest. Oh, man. This guy's giving me a headache. He's awful at the moment. Absolutely awful. Let's go to Saka. You're like a Rubik's Cube that's been completed, mate, you are. You're all figured out at the moment. We all know what Saka's going to do. It's so predictable. I feel a little bit sorry for Saka, unlike Martinelli, because, you know, every club in the league now doubles up on Saka, and we can't figure a way out of it. He's all figured out, man. It's boring now. He's dyed his hair blonde, and he's dropping Rashford-level performances of this season. Declan Rice into Odegaard, out to Saka, 2 or 3 players on him, cut on the left foot, cross it in. We've got a 5'7" striker, loses the header to a giant, and we start again. Predictable. Needs to go up a level. Unfortunately, you want to be world class, you got to do more. I said last season, I said at the start of this season, we argued about it, some of us. I said Arsenal don't have a world class attacking player in this team. I said Saka's not world class, Odegaard's not world class. They haven't done it long enough at the top level to be considered world class. Now you're seeing that Saka ain't quite world class because now everybody respects him. Now they're saying, actually, you're really good, you know. We'll double up on you. When's the last time you saw Saka get 2v1 and rip both of them apart and score or create something major at the end of it? He's struggling. Is Saka that quick? Not really. He's not lightning quick. Is he that skillful? Not really. You don't really see him drop 2-3 step-overs on people. He ain't running around nutmegging people. He's a powerful runner. He's got real good strength. He's got a sweet left foot. But sometimes you need that little bit of magic to get onto the left foot. We all knew Messi, Mahrez, Iron Robben, Bale. We all knew they wanted to go on their left foot. But they were brilliant at finding their way onto their left foot. Saka, for me, looks too predictable now. Very easy to mark. You go 2v1 against Saka, he's going to struggle. He did create a very good chance for Jesus, and he hit the post. So I'm going to give him a 5. I'm not going to totally ruin him. He wasn't terrible, but he didn't do enough. He didn't do enough. He hit the post, right foot near post, put a lovely ball in for Jesus. But Jesus, you know, scoring goals is not my strong points. So you're whipping a ball into a guy, a striker that doesn't like striking. So I give Saka a 5. There's a problem. Jared Bowen has more goals than our whole front three. Last week, I said Saka's got more goals. Salah has more goals than our front three. Jared Bowen's got more goals than our front three. I'm going to actually itch him down to a 4.5. Because second half, I thought he was non-existent, actually. So, yeah, not a 5. Second half, I thought he was awful, Saka. I'm going to give him 4.5. I'm sorry. Somebody just said HLN tax, but I realised second half, Saka didn't do anything. Jesus, I have no words. No further questions, Your Honour. Honestly. I'm out. I'm all out. I'm all out. Strikers union, you try and defend strikers. I don't have anything to defend this guy. Yesterday, I'll back this guy for the rest of the season. We're stuck with him. What else can we do? I realised yesterday, and we've probably all known for a while, Jesus, it is not happening, mate. It is not happening. And it won't happen with this guy at the football club being the main striker. I'm sorry. You might get away with it if you had Mane and Salah at their prime out wide and they're scoring you 25 goals each. Then you might get away with Gabriel Jesus through the middle. When you've got 2 young bucks out wide trying to figure their way and they're out of form, you cannot have this guy through the middle. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. He's got a good personality. Drops the odd jogger Benito, chop on a defender. 10, 11 goals a season and doing interviews saying scoring goals ain't your strong point. It's not happening. It's not happening. This guy ain't the answer. You drop 45 million on a striker that don't score goals. I've said it once. I've said it a million times. The kryptonite of Mikel Arteta is a striker. That's his kryptonite. Superman, that's the kryptonite. He can't figure it out. In fact, the goalkeeper's his kryptonite as well. Nicholas Jackson's got more goals. And I laugh at this guy. This guy rubbish, man. Got more goals. Trust me, there's a problem. There's a big problem with this guy. He's not the answer at all. I'm going to give him 3 out of 10. He wouldn't have scored if he'd been on that pitch for another 2 weeks. He'd have an open goal. He'd turn round and pass it to no one. He's not the answer. We grew up on great strikers at this football club. Goal scorers. We still haven't replaced Aubameyang, people. I'm sorry. We never replaced him. This guy is not the replacement. We desperately need a striker. Now you can see why I keep saying don't wait until the summer. You need one in January. 3 Premier League goals this season. Like, we're halfway through, 19 games. Not a chance this guy is the answer. I don't care about all the hard work and running. You need to get in the box and try and score. He ain't doing it. He'll be lucky if he gets 10 league goals this year. He's got 3 in half a season. Let's go to the bench. Pointless. Absolutely pointless. Smith Rowe came on. Hardly touched the ball. Nelson ran around. Eddie gave the ball away. Waste of time. The whole bench is absolutely pointless. Waneri, young player. El Neni shouldn't be at the club. He's there because he smiles. Jorginho shouldn't be there. He's a Chelsea leftover. Cedric got released by Southampton, got a 4-year deal at Arsenal, brown envelopes. Kivior, the Kiwi, ain't ripe. We don't even trust him. Ramsdale, you might as well sell him. Nelson hasn't developed, still looks like he's 17. Eddie shouldn't be anywhere near the club. And Smith Rowe, his confidence is shot to pieces. You might as well get rid of him. And that's what we're working with, people. That's our bench. That's supposed to win us the Premier League title. That's supposed to win us the league. Come on. This manager created this. So I always go back to the root of the problem. The root. The Kroenkes. But the Kroenkes could turn around and say, we've given this manager 725 million. So have we not backed him enough? They need to back him again in January because they're going to keep him. They're not going to sack him. They love him because he's making them money. Let me just go through these super chats. Alfred said the goal is Zinni's fault. Like Liverpool game, Zinni's in the centre-back position, leaving Salah open yesterday. Gabriel clears. You're right. And I said I've probably done Gabriel dirty. I think it's Zinchenko's fault more than him. Lawrence said Martinelli needs dropping. Problem is, bro, who do you drop him for? Trossard? He's playing equally as bad, unless you go for Nelson. Or, I think a potential solution with the form that they're in is you play Jesus out wide and you put Havertz through the middle as a target man. That's potentially what I would do, to be honest. Vince said it was coming, as you know, Curtis. The performance has never passed the eye test this season. We've been lucky in the position we're in. Strikers, wingers, and a left back needed. You're right, bro. We need multiple players. Oz said, big up, see. My dad hardly watches football. Even he couldn't see the lack of shot. Even he could see the lack of shots from outside the box from our front three. We're after that perfect goal. It's like the latter stages of Wenger's time at Arsenal, trying to play 1-2s. Tom said, Pinky and the brain. Nelly and the brain. Someone call 911. We're looking for Nelly's brain. Haunting of Hill House settings. Bro, there was Pinky, but no brain. There was no intelligence. Chris, thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Beresford, been a member for 7 months. The front three will probably miss. Oh, God. They wouldn't even turn up. Alfred said, Curtis, watch Vardy and watch Martinelli. Exactly the same skill set. Play him off the last man. Play the ball over the top. Every time we play 3 in the middle, when Aubameyang was out wide, he did the job. He's a striker. The problem you've got, you play a guy on the shoulder. You need players that can create them chances, get them through ball. Apart from Odegaard, who in this team can split a back four? No one can pass. No one can thread the ball. I hear you. I wouldn't mind seeing Martinelli up front. African Giant said, my bad, see, we had to call Kai back to W London. We had a class of 2020 dinner thing last night with Timo. We'll be back with you lot for the next game. It was so bad yesterday, we were missing Havertz, which is just pathetic, isn't it? If we're at that point. Sean said, why are our wingers refusing to go on the outside? Cutting on the inside is like a disease. Listen, Sean, why do our wingers never swap? Saka, Martinelli, you're not getting a lot of joy. You know what? I'll go on the left, you go on the right, but it's too simplistic. Arsenal don't like it. If it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. Frost said Martinelli needs to climb Mount Everest. He wouldn't be able to climb, mate. Mount Everest goes upwards and he only looks down. He'd fall back down. So there's no point in doing that. Southern Gooner, big up Matt. He said the manager has gone as far as he can. It's time for him to head back to Rangers. Players going backwards across the board. No striker. 600 mil spent. 700. No plan A, B, C or D. West Ham was over us like a hobo on a sandwich. David Moyes masterclass yesterday, bro. A lot of our players are going backwards in progression. Big up, Matt. Make sure you follow the Southern Gooner on YouTube as well. Eli said the new system ain't it. We either need to revert back to last year or change entirely and get a new tune. 3-5-2 would probably be our best bet. LSU, big up, just joining. Do we all agree it's got to be Ivan Toney? I told people. It's win the dog's fault, Big C says. Allow it. We need to change that dog's name to Nearly or Bottle. Want to see something crazy. 29 is a few goals off the top scorer for Arsenal. Only 1 goal in the league behind. Big up the new member. It's written in Chinese. I haven't got a clue what it says, but thank you for joining. And Cole said, without Havertz, we have 0 height in the front 5. You're right. And Guna ER, no more money for Arteta. Get him out. Listen, my thought process on Mikel Arteta. I'm not convinced by him, and I haven't been. I thought last season he nearly done it. He nearly overcame it. We spent over 200 million in the summer. We look worse. You could say he was unlucky with Timber, but it happens. Man City lost Kevin De Bruyne for half a season. He's their best player. Diaz is injured. Stones is injured again. Haaland's injured. Liverpool have had no Thiago, no Robertson. Injuries is happening. World Cup hangover from last season. This football club, unfortunately, at this moment in time, we're not built to win. We're built to compete. The owners want Champions League football and they want to make money. And the manager just wants to develop. He's, like I said yesterday, he's doing his apprenticeship. And you make mistakes when you're doing your apprenticeship. But these mistakes are too costly. That's the problem. We had a record 77 touches in the box yesterday, which is a Premier League record for most touches in the opposition penalty area without scoring a goal in a home game. 77 touches in the box without scoring. Where's the shots? Arsenal in home London derbies this season. Home London derbies. Fulham, 2-2 at home. Ridiculous. They were down to 10 men. Tottenham, 2-2 at home. Gabriel Jesus missing sitters and Nketiah. West Ham at home, 2-0 defeat at home. Our next home game is Crystal Palace, another London derby. So we're struggling in home London derbies. Where are the goals? Jared Bowen's got more goals than our whole front three this season. If it wasn't for Gabriel Saliba and Declan Rice, we'd probably be 4th, 5th in the table. Because this front three, as I was saying at the start, if 1 or 2 players are out of form, you point the finger at the player, right? You point the finger at the player, 1 or 2 players. We've got 4 or 5 players. Zinchenko, last season, was pivotal. He's awful this season. Ben White was brilliant last season. He's awful. Odegaard's gone backwards this season. Havertz has not pulled up any trees. Martinelli's gone backwards. Saka's gone backwards. Jesus has gone backwards. Eddie's in the same place. Smith Rowe's just completely shot to pieces. Fabio Vieira's gone nowhere. The whole attack and the whole system is completely dysfunctional. We're relying on keeping a clean sheet and just nicking a goal to win the game. That has to fall to the manager. That has to fall to the manager. Why is Martinelli getting 15 league goals last year and Saka 15 and Odegaard 15? Why do these guys look like they can't hit a barn door? Last season, what we had was balance. Xhaka and Partey was well balanced. They were physical. You couldn't bully those two. There was 2 of them. It was a foundation to build from in the middle of the pitch. Then Odegaard went and played. He had that protection. This season, you're asking Declan Rice to play as a lone 6, which he's done very well, apart from last night. Then you're trying to play with 2 attackers. But the 2 attackers are not ripping the opposition apart. So you've sacrificed one of the one that gives you the balance to add a more attacking player of Havertz. But Havertz and Odegaard are not winning us games. So you've taken away from the stability to add to the attack, but it's actually made the attack worse because we lack balance now. The fullbacks are not joining in. Saka's getting isolated, doubled up on him. He can't figure it out. Martinelli just looks clueless. He's playing with no brain. Jesus isn't scoring, isn't shooting. Odegaard struggling to create. And the balance looks totally wrong for me. Totally wrong. And how does he fix it? Because we need a solution. Now, there are some of you in the chat saying get rid of Arteta. And listen, I've got huge doubts over Arteta. But I'm trying to work with reality. And reality is we're not going to get rid of the manager mid-season. I don't even think they'll sack him at the end of the season because we're probably still good enough to get top 4. And as long as we get top 4, the Kroenkes make money. And that's all they want to do, I'm afraid. Ivan Toney would be on 20 goals already with us, says Eli. Mr. Cool Bus Driver, I think we need players like Nasri and Arshavin on the wing. Saka and Nelly or Walcott elites. We need more creativity. Odegaard can't do it alone. I agree with that. I'm hardly thinking Cristiano Ronaldo on loan. A Top Gun says, honestly, no joke, I would take Ronaldo on loan until the end of the season. I'm not even joking at this point. He's greedy. He shoots. He can shoot with both feet. He's great in the air. I'm honestly not joking. He's better than Jesus and Eddie Nketiah by absolute miles. It wouldn't happen, but I'm just saying. Footy said, I can't wait to hear the waffle. I'm hungry. Bro, let's finish off with the waffle and then I'm out of here. It's short and sharp one today. It's not going to be enjoyable, I tell you that much. There ain't nothing fun you're going to hear out of this. James Benge has just written a report, by the way. James Benge writes for CBS. He said, prior to the West Ham game, there is no indication Arsenal would move for any striker in January. Ivan Toney, Osimhen and Boniface are on their radar, but no move is expected until the end of the season. I mean, there you go. There you go. You know, they're going to just get us some bang average squad player and just feed us crumbs again. There it is. And a lot of the fan base will lap it up. That's the problem. And I told you, until the fans demand better, all they will do is feed us crumbs and pretend that it's worthwhile. And some of our fan base lap it up. Let's get into this waffle. Arteta on the game, he said, congratulations, West Ham, and praise my players. That's what I say. This is football. This is the difference, you see. We lost and he wants to praise our players. He said, you look what we've done in the game, how much we generated, and to see the result is disappointing. They were better than us in both boxes. They had 2 shots with the penalty free. We had 30. I don't know how many touches, how many open goals. In football, you have to do better if you want to win. Today, we haven't won because of that. They kept trying and had an incredible attitude. Not interested, mate. Not interested in the attitude. On missing chances, he said, it is what it is. We have to try to generate. If we don't score in 30 shots, we have to do 50 or 60 to try and score. Now, I tell you what, mate. You buy better players that don't need 30 shots to score. That's how you solve that problem. On frustrations from losing after the stats, he said, it is, but this is football. When the team generates that much, normally you're going to win the games because as well, against Brighton, and we generated so much, and against Liverpool, generates the new word. We score goals in different ways. We have to make another step in that area to make sure we're more comfortable. Load of rubbish. On the first goal being awarded after the VAR checks, and I haven't seen it. The only thing they are saying is it's not conclusive, the images they have. It's just a shame with the technology. Yeah, the technology needs updating. On potential new signings in January to solve the issues, what we have is the players that we have. It's the players that I love the most. Also, you love strikers that score 3 goals in half a season, yeah? And wingers that run with their head down. What we have to do is try to get better situations, more training, put them there and raise their confidence. Doesn't want to talk about January. On players lacking confidence in front of goal, he said, I don't think it's that. You hit the post, you hit the ball half a centimetre, and you have, I don't know how many shots. Someone blocks it. We miss a lot of situations. On the camera angles provided to rule the first goal, he said, I don't know, but the technology we have is not good enough. On having a record 77 touches in the box and not scoring, he said, they were great. We have to put the ball in the net and win it in as well because the situations we have. He said they were great. You know what? Get it off the screen. He said they were great. At that point, you just end the stream, Dave. You lock it off. He said they were great. They didn't score against West Ham. It was a David Moyes masterclass. It's waffle. It's syrup all over the place. It's a mess. Listen, we've got to respond quickly. We've got another game in 2 days' time against Fulham, which I thought was probably an easy 3 points. Now I'm looking at Willian, Iwobi and Bernd Leno thinking they're going to have a serious point to prove away at Fulham on in 2 days, people. So listen, I'm out of here. Cruz has got football, so I've got to shoot off. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. We'll preview the Fulham game. He's got a press conference tomorrow again. And let's hope we can move forward. But I said it before and I said it again. If Arteta doesn't win a major trophy this year, his job should be on the line. And if those Kroenkes don't back him in January, we need to put pressure on them again because they are not trying to win the title. They're trying to do enough to compete, get Champions League football and make money. People, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you all 2 p.m. tomorrow. Let's hope we're not back in Arsenal therapy for a while. Bless people.